Hello everyone, welcome to my first ever Let's Play. My name is Lucrosity. First ever Let's Play, you might be asking? Lucrosity, why do you have chicken in your hand? Well, also, wait, why do you have diamond armor? Why do you have an elytra? Why are you standing on a full-on concrete structure? You just said first ever. So, this is just actually a world that I've been playing on for quite a while, and I couldn't really get myself to give up, and thought it would be fun to turn into a Let's Play. Um, It's not the biggest world or anything, but I definitely have some progress made. And yeah, I kind of just want to start from where I am. So might be a little bit untraditional, but this first episode is actually just going to be me doing a little tour of it, and then maybe I'll be able to get to something else later in the episode, to a little project. I'll just kind of go over what projects I want to do, what I already have done, and yeah, we'll go from there. So, let's jump right on into it. Ow. And here to start out, we're actually looking at the world map just so we can see kind of where everything is and just kind of see what all is going on. And this map will be used just kind of show where everything is and what we're going into next. And here is the starter base. First up, we have my little starting area. This is where I started out. This is where I built my first strip mine all the way down there. Just have some basic resources left behind that I don't really need. A bunch of furnaces. Yeah, there's not too much to see here, but this is where I started out. And here is the first house. And next up we have my first house that I actually built. This was actually the first time I really tried to use like depth and texture and everything inside the house. Well, not really texture as much, but I've kind of always been a player who built redstone ever since I started back in 2011, I think. Man, it's been a while. But I've always kind of just been the person who would do a lot of technical things and build a lot with redstone, and so I never really got good at building. So this was kind of my first attempt of actually building a house with depth, texture, just aesthetically pleasing things like the campfires under the smokers here for a kitchen. I mean, I still wouldn't say I'm any bit good. That's one thing I actually want to get better at during this process, or during this series here. But as you saw, this first little area here is just kind of the kitchen. There's a chest back here that has an automatic chicken farm in it. That's just underground over there, and it pumps the things up. There's also little fields back here that are connected to a lever by the stove. Here is the chimney room. Nothing, I didn't really do anything with this. But back to the farms. So there's 3 tiers here for farms, for just whatever I wanted. It was mainly like wheat and carrots. If I pull this lever here, flushes them all forward and they all come into this chest. As you see, there's some wheat in there. Next room over here is just kind of just a little fun connecting room that I wanted to have, like a greenery room that would have just like a tree inside of it and like a waterfall, and just kind of bringing the outside indoors. And then in here we have an enchanter. This is actually the main one I still use. There's just a little library area. Here's just a bunch of enchanted books, extra armor. There's a grindstone under the stairs. Not too much in that area. Over here was my first automatic sorter that I never ended up finishing because I decided to move on to a different base, which I will show in a minute. This is a little trash can where I can just put items in, and then they'll get dispensed into lava. And then I have a little slime block launcher, which had some covering slabs that definitely broke. Here's one of the first bedrooms. As you can see, there's the non-finished automatic sorter, which is kind of ugly. I should probably tear it down. Nothing too big, nothing too fancy. There's a little wall that you can look down. Come over here to a little balcony that has a nice little view of the sunset when the sun's actually setting. You can just see out. You can see some of the other builds around that we'll get to in a little bit. Here's the bedroom. And I know I used diorite floors. Not the best choice, especially without texturing them, but it was my first attempt at actually building something using different colors and actually with like a really weird shape of a house and everything. So it was kind of a nice little starting base. As you can see, this was kind of my main storage for everything, which is not the best way to store things, but it worked for then. And that was kind of my basic little first house. And here is the wheat and carrot farm. And next up we have a farm that I built. So this actually was the first little farm that I had built in this area that would supply all my wheat and carrot needs and everything for a while. So it's just obviously a little basic plot of land. Got some pistons with slime blocks to have water behind it to retract that entire wall when I pull this lever here. There's a lever on the other side as well. At least there used to be. Apparently I don't see it over there anymore. Oh well, I'll replace it later. Yeah, that just pushes all of the crops forward, pushes them into this little hopper line that then funnels them into a storage system that's underground over there. Or there's actually this chest here, which normally would be blank. Apparently some seeds still filtering in. This would normally be blank. And what would actually happen here is you could put a shulker box in here, and you could flip this lever to this position, and it would start filling up the shulker box. Or I could flip the lever, and it would stop filling up here. Apparently that's broken right now. I'll set that later. It would stop filling that up, and would actually send all of the items down into the storage system. It's not a sorting storage system. I didn't really want to waste the time and redstone on that in here. But that's what I built as the first little farm area. And here is the sugarcane farm. And so here's my sugarcane farm. So this was something that I just kind of thought would be fun to design. Oh, I obviously got to change that back. I don't know how that one broke before, but what I wanted to do was to make this resource friendly. This was after I built this lime farm, so it actually only takes 2 pistons per layer, I believe. Or no, sorry, 4, because 1 per side. And it just pushes all the slime blocks. It's on a timer based off of a couple sugarcane over in the back. And it pushes all these layers and pushes the sugarcane into the center, which then brings it all down here. I don't think it's like that full right now, but we've got some sugarcane in there. And then I built the structure around it. And again, building is something that oof, that was bad. Building something that I really want to get better at. So like actually adding different textures, different colors, making things just like look a lot cooler and less plain than just this solid gray. So I will be working on that eventually with other buildings. I think this one's actually over here is my honey building. And this one I've actually been kind of proud of with that, and that I really like the way that it came out, the texture with it, the depth that I added, just all the different things. It's not as plain as something like my main base right there. And here is the honey farm. And so here's my honey farm. So we come in here, you can see right off the bat there are all these bees in here. This is just where all the honey is made. It looks like it's kind of backed up. Oh, apparently there's a zombie in it. Weird. Apparently it's pretty backed up right now. I should probably refill it with bottles and shears. It just makes a honeycomb and a bunch of honey bottles. And then I store all the honey down in the base with just a bunch of light down there so that nothing can spawn. And it's got a decent amount of honey already. But it's nothing too special. Just kind of a basic honey farm. You input the models up top there, comes out at the bottom. And here is the wood farm. Next up, we have my wood farm. So, as you can see, there's wood there that comes out, gets blown up by TNT. Yeah, this farm is a multi-purpose farm in that you can do birch, spruce, jungle, acacia, and oak. The reason that there's this light here and this button is actually because when you come in here, it's set to a default mode of oak. So I can grab some saplings from in here, which I obviously already had. And if there were bone meal... What is that? Are there witches over here? Alright, give me a sec. I think I found our problem. I kind of just want to see if this will... just kind of play out on its own, to be perfectly honest. Yikes, that's a lot of witches. Well, that didn't go as expected. Well, being that that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, looks like we'll have to take care of it a different way. Man, that took so much longer and so many more deaths than you would expect. Yikes. Alright, back to what we were doing. Well, now that that's finally taken care of, we can come back here, grab ourselves some saplings. I did go and grab some bone meal just so I could show how this works. Basically, you place your sapling there, pushes it forward. That pushes a little chain, makes the blocks on the end glow up. Pretty quick too. It actually dispenses you a sapling and sticks down here from all the leaves that are breaking. Kind of lags my game a little bit. My PC's not the best, but it does its job. Yeah, and that's kind of this. The way that it works to have the oak saplings is there's actually a sea lantern, I believe, up here that gets pushed down so that it blocks the large oak trees from spawning. It makes it so that only the small ones can spawn. And that's why you're actually supposed to press this button when you want to do birch, spruce, jungle, and acacia, because it'll allow them to grow a little bit taller. And then if you go up here, this is actually where all of the wood comes in. I obviously haven't really gotten a lot of wood recently. I just haven't AFK'd here for a while, but I will do that soon. This is actually where you put on the bone meal. It can back up pretty far so that it can store a lot of bone meal. Another enderman block. Yeah, and that's kind of this area. There's actually a little upstairs here where you could sleep. You can watch the logs come out and get blown up. Ender chest, crafting table, just for if you need to craft things. I don't know why I didn't put a block there. I'll replace that later. Oh, and that light resets every time someone goes in or out, so that it can be kind of foolproof, so that you don't accidentally put oak in when it's not supposed to be. And that was kind of my wood farm. And here is the factory. Next up is my second main base, I guess. So this is just kind of like a little, had a factory-esque vibe to it. I kind of wanted to build like an area where I would have some farms, would have auto sorter, have concrete converter, all those fun things. So in here, these chests right here, I believe this one was sugarcane, so there was actually a sugarcane farm up above there, just kind of a small one. I had a small little pumpkin farm and a small melon farm. I think I've taken all the melons out of this though. Oh no, there's still some melons in there. Those since have been just removed because I have I've built much bigger farms for them. There's actually a mob farm up top. Main ones come down here. There are some other ones up top. Other chests with like string and just other miscellaneous mob things that I might want. As you can see, I have another mess of a storage area where I contain all my goodies. I actually have kind of just been living out of an ender chest. I've been working on my storage system, which I'll show in a little while here, actually, once I get to my actual main base now. And here was my furnace. So there's actually like a full-on furnace array behind it that I believe is 90 furnaces, and use minecarts to distribute items and fuel. So that's my super smelter. It's obviously limited by the 2 hopper lines. Oh, looks like an enderman dropped a block here. I couldn't, for the life of me, figure out where things were spawning, so ignore the torch spam, please. I'll fix that eventually. But this was kind of a fun little area to build with all the open windows. I wanted to be able to like look out, see the sunset, see all my other builds, and just kind of have a view of everything. I didn't really know what to put in this space, so I kind of just left it plain. And endermen are leaving blocks everywhere. I kind of do a lot of AFKing, so there are blocks literally everywhere from endermen. That's my bad. I'll clean those up one of these days. Here you can see into my little sugar farm, some of the mob farm chests that come down. And then back this way we have the concrete converter and and cobblestone generator. So back in here, this is actually a mumbo jumbo design for the concrete converter. And this lever here actually starts a cobblestone line. This one here starts the TNT duper, and then I can flip this on to place on my concrete. And then it generates cobblestone and concrete at the same time. Concrete comes over here, cobblestone comes over here. And if I go upstairs, I have a little shulker storage area. This is where I would keep all my sand and gravel and all my extra shulker boxes. A few mob heads as well. This was my little AFK area for a while, and just a nice little lookout point. And then if we go back down, we'll see we can come over this way, which is actually where I have the inputs to my super smelter. So there's 3 input chests, so I can smulk a very large amount of items at one time. If I go into the back here, there are 3 fuel chests, and the main way that I've actually been fueling this is through kelp. So this right here is actually my kelp storage. I have a big kelp farm underneath in the little farming side, and then I have just some smokers that smoke up the kelp, which can get put in here to fuel the smoker array. You step on this pressure plate, a bunch of dried kelp comes up, craft blocks. I think I should have some in here. Yep. And then those fuel the super smelter. And then I just have a little open hole here to get out on top. And now we're back to where we started. And that is my little factory area. And here is the farming hub. Next up is the building that I've been working on the most recently. Obviously it's not done, there's no ceiling on it. This is actually my little farming station. So this is actually the main central hub for my farms. So as you can see, there's iron, so there's plenty of iron here. Melon blocks, these are where crafted melon blocks go, pumpkins, iron blocks. And basically the way that this is set up is so that there's a water stream here so that I can grab all the iron I want. I can go to my recipe, craft it, and then I just drop the blocks down here and they, ooh, or I can miss, that's fine. I just drop all the blocks down there and then they go into the filtering system and get placed into these. There's just the regular melons. This side I haven't actually put item frames on, but it's actually more of the, there's some poppies there, there's all the warped stem, the shroom lights. It's the newer wood side. There's just some slime from just natural spawn slime. Basically, the main thing with this is that there is a little central AFK area here that you can watch all the items come down from all the farms, as you saw the cactus there, some of the melons coming in, pumpkins, more cactus. And if you come over here, there's actually a little control area. I really only have one control in here so far. This right here is for my warped tree farm, or the warped fungi farm. So if I actually turn that on and wait a few seconds, it might take like a minute, we'll actually start to see all of those items come flying in and just kind of funneling down. It'll be a better display of all of the items trickling down this little water system. And I just kind of thought this would be a fun little area to AFK and to watch all items come down. And I just use water as the backdrop there. I know it's kind of gross with the swamp water into the regular water, but I didn't think it through enough. Yep, and as you see all the warped items coming down, it's just kind of fun to watch everything trickle in. And this is definitely an area that I will be working on a lot more. As you can see, there's definitely a lot to do. There is still some more farms I want to fit into here. Right up here where I'm collecting items from, this is actually the overflow for items that can be turned into bone meal. So they all get sent into a filtering system and then they get turned into bone meal. That fuels my other farms, mainly just the warped farm. And then items also actually get recycled through and dropped back down. in case that they missed, or they were missed in the filtering system, um, and it wasn't actually full yet. And here is the nether wart and cactus farm. Next is my warped fungus farm. So apparently from when I was just showing it off a little bit ago, or showing off the drops, it was actually broken. So it looks like the TNT in the update from 1.16 to 1.17 might have disappeared on my TNT dupers. And yes, I know some people don't like to use TNT dupers, but I'm okay with it for my sake, for my series, because I just see it as kind of part of the game and think it's very, very useful, and I would not want to farm all the TNT for all my farms. It would take years. I know I have a lot of gunpowder, but it still just take forever. Yeah, so as you can see, it's actually kind of a pretty basic farm. It just has warped fungus growing through hoppers in the center here, and water on those slabs so that it can't be removed by the warp fungus. The TNT drops and blows it all up, collects all the wood here, and then sends the wood and the leaves and the shroomlights through these water tunnels that go back to my main central area. And that's kind of what this farm is. There's actually also a second part to this, though. There's the cactus farm that you see down here. This is just mainly for bone meal. As you saw the cactus falling in earlier, these all just go straight. Well, it looks like some Enderman stole some. These all go straight to getting bone meal so that I can actually sustain the bone meal for this farm. And here is the melon and pumpkin farm. And next up is my very inefficient pumpkin and melon farm. I say very inefficient because, well, as you can see, some of the pistons are stuck. Some items get stuck every here and there. And yeah, oh no, that one actually went down. But yeah, basically this side's pumpkin farm because I don't need as many. This side's the melon because I need a lot more. I should probably go fix those in a second. But yeah, that's that farm. It's pretty basic. They just grow vertically so that I could use the space there. Still haven't decided what I want to do with these sides. If I want to actually fill them in with like just concrete, or if I should put glass over it so you can see the inside redstone, just because it looks cool to see the redstone, in my opinion. Maybe let me know in the comments what you think I should do with that area. And here is the iron farm. And here's the iron farm. This is actually Nembom's 9,000 iron per hour farm, I believe. It produces way more iron than I need, but I mean, who doesn't like a lot of iron? And I use the poppies from it just for bone meal, so that's kind of nice to have as well. Yeah, I built this back in like 1.15, so I actually had to adapt it, so I had to give the villagers here workstations. I don't know why that guy lost his workstation, but oh well. He'll get it eventually. Yeah, so they had to have workstations for the iron golems to spawn, so that's why you see the workstations there. And here is the main base. And so now, this one is my base. I'm going to apologize right now for the lag that this is going to cause my PC, because I guess I don't really understand why. There's not a lot of tile entities or anything. Nah, I mean, there's barely any. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have this huge storage system in here. I mean, there's only like a few right here, right? Okay, no, all jokes aside, yeah, this area is, it's got a lot of chests and a lot of hoppers, a lot of redstone, just a lot going on. My PC doesn't really like it a lot, so sorry for that in advance. But yeah, so this is my main base. I'll go down there in a little bit just to show kind of where it started. This is obviously nowhere near finished. There's not even a roof on it. There's definitely not enough lighting in here. But this is my automatic sorting system. It's kind of unique in that it's circular, which I really like. Also, it's unique in that it's big enough that the chests start disappearing when you go to one side. Yeah, actually only the first layer is complete here. So this entire first layer would actually automatically sort if I were to put items in a hopper. However, I don't have all the filters in place. So I only right now have some redstone ones. So I could put actually items in and it would just filter my redstone into these. However, that's not really that efficient because everything else would just kind of fill randomly, and I've got plans for how I want it all to fill. I'm gonna have to come back to it. This is definitely something you'll be seeing in a video later, as I think this is a really cool sorting system and I really need to get it finished so that I can actually keep my items nice and sorted instead of living out of these random chest piles that you see in the center of areas. Um, yeah, and there's just 3 floors to it. Each floor has a different amount of chests just so that you can, so that it keeps up the appearance from the bottom. And if I go behind it, there's just the redstone. I kind of had to modify the basic sorting system a little bit, redstone, just so that I could actually make it circular. It's nothing special, but I can do a video on that if people would like that. And then obviously I have nothing on the outside yet, so this is areas that I'm going to need to fill in eventually. I want to build a bunch of different rooms in here. I just want to like make this place actually feel alive and have more texture, have more actual style, because as you can kind of see, I use a lot of gray concrete, which is just kind of boring. That's something I want to work on though, and will be coming in future episodes. And so if I come down here, this was actually my first little villager trading area. I didn't actually like it a lot because you couldn't convert the zombie village or the villagers into zombie villagers and back. So I actually modified it and made a conversion system and a nice little trading system here. So these villagers have just little cells here so that you can trade with them. You can pull this lever and press a button to send the zombie around to come and convert them. I actually did it this way because I kind of bad at accidentally punching them and letting their trades decrease because of that. So I actually made it so that I can convert them again if I ever punch them, which I really like. Just because then you can always make sure that you have villagers that are giving you the best trades. So down here I have the clerics, I have farmers, I have librarians, and I think I have masons up here. I plan on extending this, so I'll do another video on that later of extending it so that I can have, I think I want to get all the types of villagers in here. And I just think it's kind of cool too that this design you can do circular, you could do flat. It's just fun that you can actually make this pretty modular. So I will probably end up doing a video on that in and of itself. It just uses a rail system to travel, or to make the zombie travel. And I use carpets to make sure that that these guys can't get out, the villagers can't get out, and that even if you remove their workstation and place it back, they'll never track to another workstation, only to theirs. Yeah, but that's what I have in here. And so now we'll go down to the actual original area that kind of started this all. So down here is kind of like a little like sanctuary where they've kept in the all the original terrain and have this like crystal. So the idea for this base was that there was like this natural spawning crystal that this civilization came and actually is harnessing the energy from. So they like came and built up this structure that helps harness the energy, and obviously you see the beam getting shot through that changes colors through the crystal, and goes up and gets harvested. And so they wanted to keep the life around it, and they basically just built this whole structure right around it. And that's just kind of like the theme for this base. I kind of thought it would be fun to have like a little platform here. I like the blue and the lime colors. I'm gonna build a few more up. And then there are these elevators. This one takes you down so that you can get down and into there, into the actual like, sanctuary area. If I come down here, and this is just kind of lit up with a bunch of lanterns. And then if I come over to this one, I was actually using this to transport villagers up and in, so don't mind the mess. Sorry, I gotta figure out how to get in if I could. I generally just fly, so. And then you can come up here, and there's like a little glass things that you can actually like look into the sanctuary, or you can look out over the whole world and you can see where everything is, which I thought was kind of cool. It brings you all the way back up here to the central storage area. And that's kind of what I have with my base so far. There's obviously still a lot I want to do, and that'll be covered in different episodes. But that's the main base. And welcome back after that long tour. Well, apparently my beard is all scruffy now. Well, that kind of happens when we take that long just to go around a little world. and we didn't even really get to everything. So there's actually, I think, two things that we didn't quite get to. One is a raid farm. It was just a basic raise works raid farm. That one's out in the distance behind me. The other one is a guardian farm that I actually have that gets the or that pushes the guardians forward, pushes them up a little tube, and then drops them out, kind of like a little faucet. It's like a guardian faucet, but yeah, nothing too special with that. Um, I can show that on a later video. There's some stuff I want to do to it to make it a little bit more efficient. So that'll be shown later. But yeah, that's kind of what my world entails so far. Um, oops. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Pretend it didn't happen. Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like the video if you like the video. Comment if you have any suggestions on what I should improve on, or have anything you want to see more of, any of the builds. Just kind of let me know in the comments and I can elaborate more in other videos. And yeah, please subscribe if you would like to. Have a good one. Bye.